Hello and good evening. This is Pat E. Helmanthes with Marine Science News. This just in. Invertebraes are in. Now, let's go to Molly Scott.
That's right, Pat. Invertebraes are in. We're here with Courtney Good to tell us about them.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm an animal expert on phylum Arthropoda and phylum Echinodermata. Phylum Echinodermata, which means spiny skin. Now, in this phylum, you'll have pentaradial symmetry in adults, which means you'll have 5 identical parts. Also, with phylum Echinodermata, you'll have an endoskeleton, which means hard plates, and they're actually made of 95% of calcium carbonate, and they cover the entire skin. Also, the species will have a complete digestive, nervous systems, and reproductive organs. And another unique thing that this phylum has is that they have regenerations, which means if one leg is cut off or something is cut off, then they can regrow it back. Okay, within this phylum, class Asteroidea, which has your sea stars in it, class Echinodea, which has your sea urchins in it, and your class Holoferidea, which will have your sea cucumbers. Okay, so good. So now we have phylum Arthropoda, which in Latin means jointed foot. Now these are the most species of any phylum, about 1 million, and 75% of all animal species are described as insects, spiders, centipedes, crabs, lobsters, shrimp, barnacles, etc. Now under phylum Arthropoda, you have a subclass Crustacea, which is like 40,000 species. It contains the majority of the marine arthropoda species. They have gills and 2 pairs of antennae, and their larval forms are Nauplius and Zoea. Now under phylum Subcrustacea, you'll have class Cirripedia, which means hairy foot, and those are your barnacles. Now barnacles are active suspension feeders, and they'll use your feathery cirri, or like little modified swimming appendages, and to grab the food. Now they're sessile, which means they'll attach to any hard surface, and they'll attach to almost anything, whatever they land on, which will be whalers, piers, boats, almost anything. Now, also under Arthropoda, you'll have class Melicostraca. But under class Melicostraca, you'll have 4 different types of orders. One order is order Decapoda, which means 10 legs, and those include your crabs, your lobsters, shrimp. And now these are the most species in Crustacea, and they're the largest species. They'll have 5 pairs of walking legs, and the first pair are usually modified as claws for feeding and defense. And they also have a well-developed cephalothorax, which means their head and their neck are fused together. Go.
So what's it really like to be in the field of marine biology? Here's Courtney French to tell us. Take it away, Courtney.
Thanks, Hannah. Now, I'm a specialist in preserving animals that come from the sea. Now, I'm going to introduce to you a couple of phylums that these animals belong to. This is a sponge. It belongs to the phylum Porifera in the class Demospongiae. Now, the reason it belongs to this phylum is because Porifera means pore bearing. And as you can clearly see from this specimen, this animal has a lot of pores in it. Now, there are several phylums, and they do not all consist of animals like this. There is phylum Platyhelminthes, which means flat worms. Now we have these little guys, and they belong to class Trematoda, and they're flukes, and they're really, really flat. So their brother is actually belongs to class Cestota, which is your tapeworms, which unfortunately we don't have any specimens of that. Now there's another phylum that consists of worms, and these are your segmented worms.
Yeah.
One class, Hirudinea, actually consists of leeches, but the other class consists of worms like this, and it's called class Polychaeta. Now this belongs to this phylum in this class because it is segmented and it has several bristles at every segment. Now, those are not the only animals that live in our sea. There are actually phylums like phylum Mollusca, and they consist of your mollusks, your snails, and surprisingly, octopuses. Now this is an octopus in a jar, and at the aquarium we actually have a real octopus, and I'm sure we have lots of footage that we can show you on this. This belongs to class Cephalopoda, and this is a relative of animals like mollusks, who belong to class Bivalvia, and snails that would live in here, in shells like this, because it belongs to class Gastropoda. Now, the reason why Gastropoda is not in the same class, or members of class Gastropoda do not classify with Bivalvia, is because they only have one shell. Now, these are great animals to talk about, but I actually specialize in something else, and it's the phylum Cnidaria. Now, we have a couple of little specimens in here, but we'll show you some footage on actual jellies that live in the sea. Now, the jellies consist of two phylums. True jellies, which consist of phylum Cnidaria, and those include class Scyphozoa and Anthozoa. The other phylum that consists of a not true jelly, but a similar specimen, would be phylum Ctenophora. Now, these are your comb jellies who actually don't sting. And that's the reason why they don't belong to phylum Cnidaria, because Cnidaria itself means stinging cells. So class Scyphozoa are actually your specimens which take the form of medusae, and this means that their bell is on top of their stingers. Now, these stingers actually contain things called nematocysts. Those are the things that a jelly releases when it attacks. Class Anthozoa actually consists of your polyp form of this phylum. These are your corals and your sea anemones. So we were walking into the Birch Aquarium and someone mistook me for an employee. Ooh. That's the shell of Bivalvia. That's a dead sea anemone, right?
The bleached one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's dead. It's the shell of a sea anemone.
Wait, the sea anemone.
That's a dead coral. Yeah, we touched one yesterday, in Miss Good's class.
I thought sea anemones had a skeleton.
No, don't touch battery pack.
Okay. I'm seeing you filming, and then...
Are you filming?
Yeah. He's quite